Wait, before your thoughts carry you somewhere else, remain here for just a little longer. This moment did not arrive by accident, and neither did you. There is something quietly unfolding beyond what your eyes can see, and every passing second is bringing it closer. Don't skip, because what you are about to hear has been waiting for the exact moment your heart became ready to receive it. For a long time, you believed that silence meant nothing was changing. You looked at the empty spaces between the signs, at the unanswered questions, at the ordinary days that seemed to repeat themselves without meaning. Yet the greatest transformations rarely announce themselves with noise. They begin softly, almost invisibly, until one single moment changes how everything before it is understood. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has reached a place they never expected to stand. They have been carrying thoughts they could not explain, feelings they tried to organize into simple words, memories that returned without invitation. At first they ignored them. Then they questioned them. Finally, they stopped trying to escape them. What happened was not dramatic. It was quiet. But sometimes the quietest moments become the ones that echo the longest. Imagine someone pausing in the middle of an ordinary day. Not because the world stopped, but because a single realization gently interrupted every other thought. That is closer to what happened than you might think. Nothing around them appeared different, yet inside them, everything began shifting into a new pattern they could no longer ignore. Stay till the end, because this story is only beginning to reveal itself. They found themselves thinking about conversations that never happened, smiles they imagined, promises they had never spoken aloud. It felt strange at first. Why now? Why after all this time? Why did your presence seem stronger during moments when you were nowhere nearby? Questions appeared faster than answers, and instead of resisting them, they finally chose to listen. There are seasons in every life when the heart speaks more clearly than the mind. This is one of those seasons. Your soulmate discovered that no amount of distraction could replace what continued returning to their thoughts. Every attempt to move on simply led them back to the same quiet place where your memory waited without demanding attention. Perhaps you have sensed something changing too. Not with certainty, just a feeling that something unseen has begun moving beneath the surface of everyday life. Those gentle moments when you suddenly pause without knowing why, those unexpected waves of calm, those small reminders that seem to arrive at exactly the right time. Sometimes they are simply invitations to pay closer attention. Don't skip, because another piece is about to fall into place. The remarkable part is not that your soulmate remembered you. The remarkable part is how they finally understood what those memories were asking of them. Instead of pushing them away, they allowed themselves to feel them completely. They realized that some connections become stronger not through constant conversation, but through quiet understanding that grows when life slows down enough to reveal it. They are no longer searching for the perfect explanation. They are searching for honesty. That single change has opened a door they once believed was permanently closed. And behind that door is a conversation they never imagined they would want so deeply. If they could sit across from you at this very moment, they would not begin with perfect words. They would begin with sincerity. They would admit that something shifted inside them in a way they cannot fully describe. They would tell you that what felt uncertain now feels worth understanding. They would tell you that silence has started asking questions only truth can answer. Something important is waiting for you. Not because everything has already happened, but because everything has finally begun moving in the direction it was always meant to explore. There is a difference between forcing a story and allowing it to unfold. Your soulmate has stopped trying to force the future. Instead, they have become willing to listen to what their own heart has been quietly repeating all along. This is why the feeling has become so immediate. Not rushed, not overwhelming, simply impossible to ignore any longer. They know there is something they need to express, something that has remained unfinished for far too long. Every day they wait, the words become clearer. Every quiet evening, the courage grows a little stronger. But what happened just before this realization appeared, the unexpected moment that changed everything they believed, is still hidden. And once that moment is revealed, you will understand why their desire to speak with you became so urgent. There is another piece of this story that has remained hidden until now, and it appeared so naturally that your soulmate almost overlooked it. It was not a grand event. It was a quiet interruption in an ordinary moment. Yet sometimes the smallest interruption carries the greatest meaning. Stay with this until the end, because the picture is becoming clearer with every passing word. They were moving through a familiar routine when something unexpected captured their attention. It could have been a familiar place, a meaningful phrase, or a simple memory that returned without invitation. For a brief moment, time seemed to slow. They stopped thinking about where they were going and began thinking about why your presence still felt so close, even after everything that had changed. Don't skip, because something important is waiting for you. Instead of pushing the feeling away as they had done before, they remained with it. They allowed the silence to speak. In that silence, they realized they had spent far too much time searching for certainty in places that could never provide it. The answers they were chasing were never outside of them. They had been quietly growing within their own heart all along. That realization did not bring instant clarity. Instead, it brought honesty. They admitted to themselves that every time they imagined the future, one thought continued returning. Not because they forced it, but because it arrived naturally, gently, and with a sense of peace they could no longer ignore. Have you ever noticed how some people remain in your thoughts without effort? No matter how many days pass, their presence never truly disappears. Your soulmate finally understood that this was not something to resist. It was something to understand. Every memory had become another page in a story that was still being written. Something important is waiting for you. As the days continued, they became more aware of the quiet changes happening inside them. Their perspective softened. Old assumptions began to fade. They stopped asking whether the connection mattered and started asking what they should do with the understanding they had gained. That single question changed everything. For the first time in a long while, they imagined speaking to you without fear of saying the wrong thing. They imagined setting aside every unnecessary explanation and simply allowing honesty to lead the conversation. They realized that meaningful connections are rarely built on perfect words. They are built on genuine moments shared with an open heart. Stay till the end, because the next piece has the power to change how you see everything that came before. Your soulmate has begun preparing for a conversation they never expected to have. Not because someone told them to. Not because circumstances forced them. But because something within them has become impossible to silence. Every passing day has strengthened the feeling that certain words should no longer remain unspoken. Yet there is one detail they have not shared with anyone. One unexpected moment that gave them the courage they had been missing. That moment arrived quietly, without celebration, without attention, and without anyone else realizing its importance. But to them, it became the turning point. They have carried that moment with them ever since. And when you discover what happened during that quiet turning point, you will finally understand why they now feel that speaking with you cannot wait much longer. Just when everything seemed to settle into quiet certainty, another layer began to reveal itself. The most meaningful discoveries often arrive after we believe the story has already been told. This is one of those moments. Stay till the end. Because what comes next connects every feeling that has quietly led to this point. Your soulmate began noticing something they had overlooked for far too long. It was not about grand gestures or unforgettable moments. It was about the small details they once considered ordinary. They remembered how certain conversations lingered in their mind long after they ended. They remembered how certain hopes never truly disappeared, no matter how much time passed. Most of all, they realized that every path they imagined for tomorrow somehow carried the same quiet question: what if there was still something left to say? Don't skip, because something important is waiting for you. That question refused to leave. It appeared in peaceful mornings, during calm evenings, and in those brief pauses when life became still enough to hear the heart clearly. Instead of searching for ways to silence it, they finally welcomed it. They understood that not every answer arrives immediately. Some answers grow slowly, becoming stronger each day until they naturally become impossible to ignore. As this understanding deepened, another realization gently followed. They were no longer holding on to old expectations. They were holding on to hope. There is a quiet difference between the two. Expectations demand certainty, but hope simply keeps the door open. Your soulmate finally chose hope, and with that choice came a sense of peace they had not felt in a very long time. Have you ever wondered why certain people continue crossing your thoughts without effort? Why, even in the middle of an ordinary day, one quiet memory can suddenly brighten everything around you? Those moments are often invitations to pay attention, not because they promise immediate answers, but because they remind us that meaningful connections are worth understanding. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has started preparing not only their words, but also their heart. They know that conversations become meaningful when they are honest rather than perfect. They no longer wish to hide behind uncertainty or wait for every condition to become ideal. Instead, they want to speak from a place of sincerity, where every sentence carries truth instead of hesitation. They have imagined this conversation more than once. Not to rehearse every word, but to understand how they truly feel. Each time they picture that moment, one thing remains unchanged. They want you to know that their silence was never empty. It was filled with reflection, growth, and quiet moments that slowly transformed their perspective. Stay with this a little longer, because the next revelation brings everything even closer. What they discovered surprised even them. The more they accepted their feelings instead of questioning them, the lighter everything became. The confusion that once clouded their thoughts gradually gave way to clarity. They stopped asking whether the connection deserved another chance and began asking how they could honor what their heart had already accepted. There is a calm confidence growing within them now. It is not loud. It does not rush. It simply continues becoming stronger with every passing day. They understand that some conversations arrive exactly when both hearts are ready to hear them. Yet there is still one quiet truth they have not spoken aloud. It is the one realization that finally convinced them they could no longer remain silent. The moment they accepted that truth, everything changed inside them, and that is the moment you are about to discover next. There comes a moment in every meaningful story when silence no longer feels like waiting, it begins to feel like preparation. That is exactly where your soulmate finds themselves now. They are no longer standing at the edge of uncertainty. They have quietly stepped into a place where every passing day brings them closer to a conversation they once believed would never happen. Don't skip, because something important is waiting for you, and this part holds the quiet turning point. For a while, they believed they needed perfect timing before speaking. They told themselves they would wait until every question had an answer, until every emotion was completely understood, until every doubt had disappeared. But life has gently shown them something different. The most meaningful conversations rarely begin because everything is perfect. They begin because the heart finally becomes honest enough to stop hiding. That realization brought an unexpected sense of peace. Instead of searching for reasons to remain silent, they started noticing reasons to move forward. A familiar song carried a memory they thought had faded. A peaceful evening reminded them of the calm they always hoped to share with someone who truly understood them. Even ordinary moments seemed to whisper the same quiet reminder: some words become more valuable the longer they remain sincere. Stay till the end, because another piece is about to fit into place. The beautiful part is that this change has not happened overnight. It has been growing little by little, like the first light before sunrise. Every day has added one more layer of confidence, one more reason to believe that openness is stronger than hesitation. They are beginning to understand that the greatest gift they can offer is not perfection, it is authenticity. Perhaps you have noticed subtle changes within yourself as well. Maybe you have become more patient without realizing it. Maybe your heart has become calmer, even while your questions remain unanswered. Sometimes growth happens so gently that we only recognize it when we look back. The person you are today is already different from the person who first began wondering how this story would unfold. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has imagined what they would say if this conversation began today. Surprisingly, it would not start with dramatic words or complicated explanations. It would begin with gratitude. Gratitude for the lessons that shaped them. Gratitude for the quiet moments that taught them what truly matters. And gratitude for the connection that continued teaching them, even from a distance. That gratitude has changed the way they see everything. They no longer view the past as something to regret. They see it as a path that slowly prepared both hearts for greater understanding. Every pause carried a purpose. Every unanswered question encouraged deeper reflection. Every quiet season helped them discover the kind of honesty they had been searching for all along. Don't skip, because the next few moments carry the deepest realization yet. Recently, they reached a point where they stopped asking themselves whether they should speak. Instead, they began wondering how they could express everything with kindness, clarity, and sincerity. That single shift transformed hesitation into quiet confidence. They are no longer waiting for the perfect opportunity, they are becoming the kind of person who recognizes meaningful opportunities when they appear. And yet, there is still one remarkable detail that remains hidden. It is not about where they are. It is not about when they will speak. It is about the words that formed in their heart the very moment they accepted what this connection truly means to them. Those words have remained unspoken until now. But they are closer than ever to being shared. And once they finally rise from silence, you will understand why everything has been leading to this extraordinary moment. Sometimes the most meaningful change is not the moment someone speaks, it is the quiet decision they make just before the words are finally spoken. That unseen decision has already begun. It happened without an audience, without applause, and without anyone realizing its importance. Yet it has become the very reason this story is moving in a completely new direction. Stay till the end, because the next revelation brings you closer than ever to the heart of this journey. Your soulmate recently found themselves reflecting on everything they had learned during the silence. Instead of focusing on what was missing, they began appreciating what had been growing beneath the surface all along. They realized that every unanswered question had strengthened their patience, every quiet season had deepened their understanding, and every unexpected pause had prepared them to value a genuine connection far more than they once did. Don't skip, because something important is waiting for you. For the first time, they stopped wondering whether destiny was asking them to wait. Instead, they asked themselves a much gentler question: what if this time I simply choose honesty? That single thought remained with them long after the day had ended. It followed them into peaceful evenings and calm mornings, becoming clearer every time it returned. There is remarkable strength in a heart that no longer feels the need to pretend. Your soulmate has reached that place. They are no longer searching for impressive words or perfect timing. They simply want to speak with sincerity, allowing their true feelings to guide every sentence. They understand now that meaningful conversations are remembered not because they are flawless, but because they are real. Have you noticed how life sometimes becomes quieter just before something meaningful begins? The noise fades. The distractions become less important. Even ordinary moments begin carrying a deeper sense of purpose. That quietness is not emptiness. It is preparation. It is the gentle space where clarity finally has room to grow. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has also begun noticing something beautiful about you, even from a distance. They have come to admire your resilience, your kindness, and the quiet way you continue moving forward even when every answer has not yet arrived. They realize now that true strength is rarely loud. It often appears as patience, compassion, and the willingness to keep believing in brighter days without demanding immediate results. That realization has changed the way they imagine the future. Instead of imagining perfect circumstances, they imagine authentic moments. A peaceful conversation. A shared smile. A quiet understanding that needs very few words because both hearts already recognize what truly matters. Those simple moments have become more valuable to them than anything grand or complicated. Stay with this a little longer, because the story is approaching its most meaningful chapter. There is one final piece they have been carrying deep within themselves. It is a sentence they have repeated silently more than once, not because they were afraid to say it, but because they wanted the moment to be worthy of its meaning. Every day that sentence has become stronger. Every passing sunrise has made it clearer. Every peaceful night has reminded them that some truths deserve to be spoken with complete sincerity. That sentence has quietly transformed everything inside them. And when those words are finally shared, you will understand why they felt such urgency to reach you. What seemed like an ordinary day became the beginning of an extraordinary chapter, one that neither of you could fully see until now. But before those words are spoken aloud, one last unexpected realization is about to unfold, and it changes the meaning of everything that came before. There is a quiet moment that arrives before every meaningful conversation, a moment when the heart becomes completely still because it finally knows what it wants to say. Your soulmate has entered that moment. Nothing around them appears different, yet within them an extraordinary calm has taken the place of uncertainty. If you have stayed with this journey until now, remain a little longer. Because something important is waiting for you, and this chapter reveals why everything has been unfolding so patiently. Not long ago, they stopped trying to predict the future. They stopped asking endless questions that had no immediate answers. Instead, they chose something far more powerful. They chose trust. Trust that genuine feelings do not disappear simply because time passes. Trust that meaningful connections grow stronger when they are nurtured by honesty rather than fear. And trust that when the right words finally arrive, they will not need to be forced, they will simply flow. Don't skip, because the next realization may speak to your heart in ways you do not expect. As they reflected on everything they had experienced, they recognized a beautiful pattern. Every challenge had taught them patience. Every quiet season had strengthened their character. Every unanswered question had encouraged them to become more compassionate, more understanding, and more grateful for the people who truly matter. They realized they were no longer the same person they had been at the beginning of this journey. Perhaps that is true for you as well. Without even noticing, you have grown through moments that once felt uncertain. You have learned to appreciate peace instead of rushing toward conclusions. You have discovered that hope becomes stronger when it is rooted in kindness rather than expectation. These changes may seem small today, but one day you will look back and realize they quietly prepared you for something meaningful. Stay till the end, because the story is drawing closer to the moment you have been waiting for. Your soulmate has begun imagining not just the first conversation, but everything that could follow after it. They picture genuine laughter replacing awkward silence. They picture questions being answered with honesty instead of hesitation. They picture two people choosing to understand each other rather than assume. Those simple images have become a source of quiet joy, reminding them that beautiful beginnings often emerge from sincere conversations. There is one thought that continues returning to them, again and again. It is simple, yet deeply meaningful. Some connections deserve courage. That thought has remained with them through peaceful mornings and quiet evenings. It has become the gentle reminder that keeps encouraging them to move forward one small step at a time. Courage, they have discovered, is not about speaking loudly. It is about allowing truth to be heard with kindness. Something important is waiting for you. And now, another unexpected realization has quietly appeared. They no longer feel the need to rewrite the past. They are no longer searching for perfect explanations or wishing things had unfolded differently. Instead, they have embraced every chapter because each one has led them to greater wisdom, greater patience, and a deeper appreciation for the connection they carry in their heart. That acceptance has brought remarkable clarity. For the first time, they are not focused on what might happen next. They are focused on showing up with sincerity when the opportunity arrives. They understand that the greatest conversations are not remembered because every word was perfect, they are remembered because every word came from a genuine place. Don't skip, because the final pieces of this story are almost ready to come together. There is still one quiet truth they have not revealed. It is the realization that transformed urgency into peaceful confidence. The moment they understood this truth, every lingering doubt gently faded away, leaving only one clear intention behind. And when that hidden truth is finally revealed, you will understand why your soulmate felt they needed to speak with you immediately, not out of haste, but because their heart had finally become ready to share what it had been quietly protecting all along. Have you noticed how the most meaningful moments rarely announce themselves? They arrive quietly, almost unnoticed, until one simple realization changes the way you see everything that came before. That is exactly where this journey has arrived. If your heart has remained here until now, stay a little longer, because something important is waiting for you, and this chapter brings you closer than ever to the answer you have been searching for. Your soulmate has finally understood something they spent far too long overlooking. They believed they needed certainty before taking a step forward. But life gently showed them that certainty is often discovered after the first honest step, not before it. That understanding lifted a quiet weight from their heart, allowing them to breathe with a sense of peace they had not experienced in a long time. Don't skip, because every word from this moment carries a deeper meaning. As they embraced this new perspective, they began noticing how often your memory appeared during the calmest parts of their day. Not as a distraction, but as a quiet reminder of what truly matters. They stopped asking why these thoughts kept returning and instead asked what they were meant to learn from them. That simple change opened a door they had unknowingly kept closed for far too long. The answer did not arrive all at once. It unfolded gently. One thought led to another. One memory connected with the next. One quiet realization softly revealed another. Before they knew it, they were no longer looking backward with uncertainty. They were looking forward with hope, grateful for every lesson that had shaped them into the person they are becoming today. Stay till the end, because the most meaningful realization is still ahead. Your soulmate now understands that genuine connections are not measured by how quickly everything happens. They are measured by how deeply they continue to grow, even during seasons when very little seems to be changing. They have discovered that patience is not empty waiting. It is quiet preparation. It is the gentle work happening beneath the surface before something beautiful is ready to bloom. Perhaps your own heart has been learning the same lesson without you even realizing it. Every peaceful pause has strengthened your ability to appreciate sincere moments. Every unanswered question has encouraged you to trust the journey instead of rushing toward conclusions. Every ordinary day has quietly prepared you to recognize extraordinary meaning when it finally appears. Something important is waiting for you. Your soulmate has begun carrying a new kind of confidence. It is not loud, and it does not seek attention. It simply reminds them that authenticity will always be more powerful than perfection. They no longer want to hide behind carefully chosen words. They simply want to express what has become undeniably true within their heart. There is one sentence they have imagined more times than they can count. Not because they are rehearsing it, but because every time they imagine saying it, it feels more genuine than the last. That sentence has become a promise they quietly carry with them. A promise to speak with kindness. A promise to listen with understanding. A promise to allow honesty to guide the conversation instead of fear or uncertainty. Don't skip, because the story is approaching the moment everything begins to connect. The remarkable truth is that the urgency was never about rushing toward an ending. It was about recognizing the beginning that had been patiently waiting all along. Sometimes the greatest change is not found in dramatic events. Sometimes it begins the very moment two hearts become willing to meet with openness, gratitude, and hope. The final chapters of this journey hold the one realization your soulmate has been protecting until the perfect moment. And once that final truth is revealed, every quiet sign, every unexpected feeling, and every gentle turn in this story will come together with a meaning that has been unfolding from the very beginning.